Hey everyone, so I have a question for you. Did the flat earth conspiracy provoke NASA to responding with pics? In my group, in my Facebook group, the Sharpening Report Facebook group, I just got a somebody that posted this article from thevintagenews.com, which I have not heard of before, so I'm unfamiliar with it. Of course, there's a lot of disinformation news sources out there. I don't know if this is one of them or if this is actually legit or not. So I would love to hear some or read some comments from you. But the article is titled as So NASA got sick of all that conspiracy thing and released over 10,000 photos from the Apollo moon mission. And there's some pictures on there. So I put the link in the show notes if you want to check out the article. And so there's some pretty interesting discussion around this. Did NASA actually release all these photos because of the flat Earth conspiracy, or because of the we didn't really go to the moon conspiracy, or what? Some people had some pretty interesting comments to make in the group. One person wrote, "The Vintage News is owned by Tamaris, just so happens to be a vintage photo enhancing site, and was just established in 2015. There are not 10,000 photos. Not everything you read on Facebook is true. Bummer." Somebody else wrote, NASA had 8,400 plus new photos on their Flickr last I checked. I downloaded the high res of the first page of those labeled Apollo 11, and they were pretty detailed. Um, so somebody else wrote 10,000 photos would take a lot of crayons, about $18 billion worth. So that's kind of funny. And there's a good amount of back and forth between people who believe this is true, people who don't, people who believe it's a response to the flat Earth or the whole moon mission thing. Um, so I want to know what you think. You can check out the article. You can go to NASA and check out the photos. What's interesting to me is I did a interview with Rob Skiba somewhat recently about the whole flat Earth conspiracy thing. I mean, I myself am still a round Earth guy. I believe the Earth is round. I don't believe it's flat, but I don't down on people that do believe it's flat. I get why they believe that, and I don't think it's I don't want to insult anybody's intelligence or anything over it. But I think I just think it's interesting. It's an interesting topic. It's kind of like the hollow earth theory. I think that's very interesting too, and there's different ways to look at it. Somebody else put a picture up here too, which I think is kind of interesting. How big is America? Photos courtesy of NASA. And then there's two different Earth photos, one from 2007 and one from 2012. And the photo from 2012 has a much bigger looking America. So there's inconsistency there. Now, I don't know if that is actually from NASA. I haven't taken the time to go and vet all of this because I'm interested in what other people have to say about it, so I wanted to do this video. But as I was saying before, I did an interview with Rob Skiba about the flat Earth thing, and he brought up some interesting points. But one of the interesting things, and this surprised me, um, he brought up how you can actually take the photos back from NASA. You can take the photos back into Photoshop and do some kind of enhancement to show how things have been photoshopped in there. And he knows more about that than I do, but he went through and actually did the whole thing, like, on the computer during the interview, so you can actually see what he's doing and see that there has been stuff added in. And the interesting thing is, right after that was released, because I also released it as just a clip, which I'll have in the show notes too if you want to watch the clip, and I'll put the whole interview in the show notes too, in the description, the YouTube description in the bottom. But what was interesting was, after that was released, and once it started getting a lot of views, it was only 2 or 3 days after it started getting a lot of views, NASA replaced that photo with one that didn't have the evidence of enhancement and everything. And I right before they did that, I had checked it myself, just to make sure, and it definitely was there. It was a photoshopped image. So right after that was released, they took it down. They put up maybe a real image, or maybe something that was just better photoshopped. I don't know. I don't know if that was a direct response to the interview that we did, or not. I mean, I don't. I would think not, because NASA's a pretty big organization. I wouldn't think something like that would provoke them to do that, but I don't really know. And I'll say too, a lot of people ask me why I even did that interview with Rob, or why I'm even entertaining a theory that I don't believe in. And really, it's because I think it's interesting. There are some scripture that seem to point in that direction if you take it a certain way. And I was interested in looking into those scriptures, and seeing why the Bible says things like that. Talks about the earth being on pillars, and I mean, you can't. I do think there's a different explanation than the flat earth thing, personally. um, but when you read biblical descriptions of what the earth looks like, you can't really come out of it with like a round earth model. It doesn't work. I mean, you can try to force it in there, but it really doesn't work. If you're true to the text, then they did believe back then that the earth was flat. So I can't, for me personally, I can't go and insult somebody's intelligence for believing that, and then get my spiritual guidance and enlightenment from ancient people who actually did believe that. I mean, when I read the Bible, that's some of the smartest people in the world that wrote that, that wrote all those books. So I can't, I just, it's this double standard that I don't want any part of. Um, so I respect that people believe that. I understand why. I understand the arguments and why they do. I'm just a round Earth guy myself. Uh, Now I think that Dr. Michael Heiser has a really good explanation for the biblical stuff, and that's probably my go-to explanation on why the Bible says stuff. And I'll put the link in the description to that as well. He did a whole presentation on it. It's really interesting. If not that, uh, it might be, and this is way out there, and full of speculation. And myself, I'm like a quantum physics guy. I really like quantum physics, and I love the idea of higher spatial dimensions, especially relating it to spirituality. And like when the Bible talks about heaven and stuff like that. I believe that heaven is a very real place, and just as real as the earth, if not more real than physical reality. If anything, it could be that, and it could be that what's being described is something that's extra dimensional. I mean, the whole Earth, we might only be seeing a three-dimensional slice of it. It could be a much larger construct, but due to us only having a three-dimensional perspective, we don't see all of it. So in a way, and I'm not saying like that's nothing that I would say it has to be that. It's just an idea. That's all it is. But I think it's interesting, and if that is accurate, I mean, it could be both. It could be both round and flat if we think about the higher dimensional, aspects. But again, I mean, I'm already into quantum physics, so if you ask a science guy a question about something, you're going to get a science answer. If you so that's just my own idea. It's all it is. I'm not putting it out there as truth or anything. And obviously, it's not something I've put a whole lot of work into formulating it so I could speak on it intelligently. So, but anyway, aside from all that, that's why that's why this topic interests me. What really doesn't interest me though is all the animosity that comes from it. People, round earthers want to get mad at flat earthers, and flat earthers want to get mad at round earthers, and there's this big fight. I don't really want any part of that. That's the aspect that interests me the least. And I think for anybody in either camp, if you're projecting that, that's not a really good way to get your point across, or to reveal the truth to somebody. That's just my own personal opinion, so take it for what it's worth. But anyway, I'm interested in what you guys think. If you want to leave a comment in the bottom, of this video, that'd be great. What do you think of this story? What do you think about flat Earth? What do you think about round Earth? Um, the whole controversy. I'm interested, and let's keep it clean and nice. We don't have to call each other names. Jesus said that the most important commandments was loving God and loving each other, and Paul made mention that love was the most important thing too. So let's just do that. That'd be nice, is all I'm suggesting. But I would like to hear your opinions, and also if you're interested, I'd love it if you would subscribe to my channel. And I'm gonna try to post videos like this on a regular basis, hopefully every day. So this is the one for today. Just thought it was something of interest. Also, if you want to post things like this in my Facebook group, it's the Sharpening group, the Sharpening Facebook, or the Sharpening Report, excuse me, the Sharpening Report Facebook group. So you can do that. Find me on Facebook. Go ahead, friend request me, and I'll be happy to add you as a friend. And if you want to email me, my email is joshpeckdisclosure@gmail.com. Also, you can check out the Sharpening Report, which is a show that I host where we have on regular guests and we talk about these kinds of things. So it's really interesting, and you can find information about that and everything else at ministudyministry.com. So that's it for today. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe. And yeah, leave me a comment. I'm curious on what you think about this. Take care, and God bless.